Hey, this is Isaac Lamb from Kublai Khan, and you're watching Sonic Perspectives.
Let's fight every system in this cage. So fucking covered from Clementine with conflicting reach the sun. I'm doomed, just like you. So yeah,
Cool.
thanks for spending some time to chat with me, and yeah, I'm keen to dive into the new EP and see what it's
Yeah.
all about. I mean, first and foremost, it was an absolutely amazing listen. The first time you get through it, you're just like, okay, cool. Like that was a powerful approach to what you guys have been doing for a long
Yeah.
time, and honestly, it's just it's it is just so heavy, both lyrically and musically. So kudos to you and the rest of the team. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, when did you start writing for this album or this EP?
Uh, let's see. I want to say sometime during the pandemic, we just sort of, you know, as tours get canceled and we have all this time off, we just sort of decided that to make use of this time, we should do some writing because that's one of the few things we could do at the time.
Mhm.
Um, I can't remember. So we recorded it about a year ago. It was March or April of
Mhm.
2021, I suppose. Um, so it had to have been just a few months before that. We do a lot of writing in the studio because
Okay.
we all live in different states. So that's when we can really meet up to like grind out all the stuff
Yeah.
together. Um, but usually it's our guitar player just writing riffs on his own and sending them in an email. He sent us an email with 100 riffs, just a single riff, 100 different ones, and then the rest of us just go through and sort of pick the ones we like and just start from there, start trying to build from there. Yeah, so it's a lot of the back and forth just with voice memos until
Yeah.
we can finally meet up in the studio.
Man, I know exactly how you feel. I work with a band based in the Netherlands, and I'm in Australia. And then yeah, it's just like on like Telegram or something. There's like, oh, how does
Yeah,
this sound? How does this sound? It's like, yeah, it sounds
yeah,
good, but then you're just like, yeah, you're sending tons of stuff back and forth. And yeah, so I
it's
can
it's so
imagine.
different
Oh, it's
than
crazy. It
being in
really is.
person. Yeah,
Yeah, it is crazy. But I mean, despite the distance, and of course, the I guess the chaos in which the world has been sitting the past couple of years. I mean, I think this EP does sound like a band that's just been completely one-minded. It's been like everyone's just kind
thank
of
you.
locked perfectly, and yeah, it's really cool.
I feel
One thing
like
I actually, I'm sorry.
we've just been we've it's been us four and we've been together for so long now. I think we finally we just work so well as a unit that I think we've got our routine down, and we're just getting better, hopefully just getting better and better at it. But
I yeah, I think so for sure. I mean, when I heard 8 years, I was like, okay, this is probably the best track I've ever heard from this band. And then after this EP, I was like, never mind, this
cool,
is the best
good.
yet. Like I'm super stoked on it, man. I think actually the review for Sonic like by Sonic Perspectives will come out sometime today, so you can dive
Oh,
into
cool.
that and yeah,
Yeah,
have a quick read. But yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I was saying, so you got Loyal to None, Taipan, Resentment, and Dynasty. If you had a track that started with E, like the title started with the letter E, and then put it in between
yeah.
Resentment and Dynasty, then you could literally have LTRED as the first letters, and they could be Let the Rough End Drag.
Dang, dang. We need to
I
hire you.
was
That's
like,
good. That's
oh.
really good.
And then you had
Wow.
Swan Song could have been sometimes Let the Rough End Drag, but I was just like, it's okay, it's still cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cute puppy.
Oh, sorry, I got my little guy.
That's all right, no worries. Okay, so anyways, going back to it, what was the reason for going for an EP rather than going for an album this time?
Uh, I'm not really sure. I think it's something that we've been wanting to do. We're all a big fan of the EP format just because it's less pressure. It's a lot, you're doing a lot. You're only writing half as many songs, but it's kind of exhausting writing a full-length album, and then you're only going to work with one or two or three songs off the album anyway.
Mm,
So it's always kind of a bummer to write 10, 12 songs or whatever, and then you're only going to play one or two of them live. You're doing a video for one song. And so an EP is, you're still going to get that one song. You can put a lot more effort into the songs that matter and not sort of waste your time with the, I don't want to call it filler, but there's always a little bit of filler. You know, you always run out
Yeah.
of time no matter how long the project is. And also like with an EP, I feel like for some reason I think you can get away with a little more, like stretching your experimentation. I think you can get away with a lot more on an EP than you can full length. I don't know why, but I realized we didn't really do a whole lot of experiment. This is pretty meat and potatoes for us. But I don't know. It's just sort of I think just sort of something new. It was a weird time for everybody. Everybody's doing, trying to figure out what they want to do, and just to do something a little different is just sort of refreshing, I think.
Cool. Nice. I mean, I think it's you say it's the meat and potatoes, of what you do, but I still found there were some things that I still found quite refreshing from you guys as well. Like in Resentment, there's a lot of rhythm changes that kind of go back and forward. It's like really fast, really slow, really fast, and you really don't know where you're going, which is really fun. So I never felt like, oh, it's just another Kublai Khan track. It was just kind of like,
good. That's good.
yeah,
then. Yeah.
It felt like it was a premeditated approach to it. Which is actually part of the next question I had, which was it revolved around the heaviness of the EP, both conceptually and musically. I mean, what can you give me like a general overview of what you wanted to deliver conceptually to listeners and fans? Like, what did you want to drive home to them?
I think that sort of comes along the way. I think that, and that's also all Matt. Like, so that's as far as the sort of concept and the lyrical content, and that's like 100% Matt. That's his job in the band. That's where he lives at. But as far as like sort of the music and the package we want to give, I think it's the same as every album. We write a part and we sort of say, can you mosh to this? Will kids beat each other's ass to it? And then we say yes, okay, it's good. Like, we'll move on. Like, I think that's sort of we just want to make heavy music that people want to bob their head to. Yeah. And so, it's a pretty simple goal, but it's real easy to get carried away and try and do too much, or, I don't know. I feel like it's sort of a simpler is better approach, and that's sort of what I am always shooting for when I'm doing my part in the writing. As far as the lyrical content and the whole sort of concept of the EP it is kind of a heavy topic, and that's I don't know, that's just what Matt wanted to talk about this time. It always comes from a personal place from him, and so that's just where he ended up for this EP.
Wow. So it is a super heavy place. I mean, obviously the first song, Swan Song, it's just it hits straight up hard, and even I guess also the delivery of the lyrics, it's just there's nothing around it. It's just straight to the point. There's not even instruments sometimes. It's just just like Scott Vogel and of course Matt just yelling it like at the listener super high, and it delivers the message, that's for sure. And then the way that Matt says "let the rough end drag" at the end of that track just like sends shivers down my spine. It's pretty intense. So it was fantastic. And then regarding Scott, I mean, how did that come about? How did you get Scott Vogel to appear on the track? And then I guess the second question would be, what motivated you to choose him?
So I think like right before the pandemic, like during the shutdown, we were on tour with Terror, and just sort of made friends with him. Like he's such an icon of this world that we live in, and so to meet him, he's a great guy. He's good at what he does. He just loves and lives for it. And Matt and him got along really well. And when we started writing, this was one of the songs where it started out as an idea in Matt's head before there was ever a riff, any structure to the song. Matt had this whole concept for the whole song. And I think he had this sort of, back and forth vocal part with nothing underneath. And I think that it's more Scott fit that idea. I think the idea came first, and then Scott was the perfect person for that spot. And so I think that's really, it just sort of fell into place that he was a guy we toured with recently, got along with. He's a great vocalist in this, in this genre, and it just sort of worked out.
That's really cool. And I mean, I feel like of course, his participation or his, his position in Terror is
Yeah.
almost like, for me, it was the champion for the way that your EP sounds as well. Because I mean, I guess in the modern metal world where there's a lot of overproduction, there's a lot of sampling, there's a lot of synth layers and stuff going around. Your
Yeah.
EP and just your general nature as a band, it's so raw. It's like, no, like, here are instruments and let's put as much power into them as possible. And then you then had Scott come in, who is basically just like the personification of that, and it just melded so perfectly. So
I know.
yeah, it was really cool. It was almost like a really nice bow tie.
I think we're yeah. I mean, it's sort of that's sort of our I don't want to call it a shtick, but like, we're just four guys who try and do everything we can on our own. We like things as real as they can be. Like, even when it comes down to the actual recording, I want all the drums to sound like you're in the room with them as much as possible, and we don't want any weird sampling that we can't recreate live. And we just try and make it as like approachable and down to earth as we can get it, I suppose.
Yeah, but that brings me to my next question. I feel like you're preempting all the questions that I've got coming. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm going to segue into the next one. I know what's coming. But yeah, it's just about your drums. I mean, they're so hefty. Like, you put
it's all Randy.
It's all Randy. I mean,
our engineer, he's just good at that. And he knows, by this time, this is our fourth time working with him, fourth or fifth time. And he knows what I want at this point. I walk in and I say, Randy, I want to try a 24-inch kick. And he goes, get that one over there, put this head on it. This is the sound you want. And it's perfect. He just knows at this point. And I don't know. I love it.
There's something special over graphic nature. They just, they know what they're doing. To put it simply,
they really do.
I mean, was there any difference in the way that you approached, whether it was writing the drums or producing the drums, compared to other albums?
I want to say no, just because this is our fourth time there. We have kind of a routine. It's changed a little bit over the years. This was very similar to how we did Absolute. But the other albums before that were a little bit different, where we do drums first. We come in with all the songs written, do drums first, and then go from there. But these last two, we actually recorded drums last, and it's really nice because it gives me a lot of time with the songs to refine my parts. While they're tracking vocals and guitars and bass, I can go sit in a practice room and just like work on stuff, and it can change all the way up until the last day when I actually record, which is really nice.
Wow. I think it's quite a rare thing, I think, to have the drums kind of recorded last. It's generally the foundation for which the guitars, and bass kind of work off. And that's really cool. Nice. So Randy, you worked with him, which is really cool. And then you answered my question as well. It's like, how that kind of has developed your relationship with him as well. So that's
it's just great. He really is, like, he might as well be a part of the band, like the fifth member. We just get along with it. We have a good time with him. We don't even have to say what we're thinking anymore. We just sort of, we work so well with him.
Okay. Got a quick one about the samples, actually, that we find throughout the EP. How did you come across the samples for for each track? And I guess, of course, they really relate to each song, but how did you choose them? How did you find them?
Again, that's all Matt. Matt's sort of he's our lyrical guy. He's our sort of song concept guy, our creative guy. And they're from I want to say they're from like a documentary series, and they did a big one on sort of the same concept that the album's about. And I think they're all from that. I'm the wrong guy to ask about that stuff. So
no, that's fair.
But I think, as far as I know, they're all from the same different episodes of the same, sort of themed series. So
nice. Okay. And I think the saying again, like let the rough end drag. That's quite. I think it's quite a colloquial, like local term for you guys in Texas. I mean, could you give listeners who are probably not used to that term just a quick idea of what that means?
Just sort of like, you don't always get everything packaged up in a nice way. You don't always get everything that you're hoping or wanting for, but you just sort of have to deal with it sometimes and just work your way through it.
Yeah,
Even if you gotta, do things in a way you wouldn't prefer to get it done, you still have to do it. And so I don't know. It's
no, it makes sense. Just got to let the
yeah,
rough end drag. Yeah,
yeah,
it's cool. It's a really, I think it's a really powerful term as well for the concepts that that you're putting through as well in the CP.
yeah.
And then with that, is there? I mean, what did you want the listener to kind of understand and I guess take away from the CP? I mean, yeah, I asked earlier, what you wanted to provide to them, but what do you want them to actually kind of digest and I guess take away for the daily lives, or even just as they finish the album, go, okay, like what do I think about that?
I mean, just sort of that, like, so like things they're not always pretty.
Yeah,
Things get ugly sometimes and super nasty, and you got to do what you got to do to make it through the day. And you really can't, you know, you can't resent it yourself for it. You can't regret it. You got to get your stuff done however you got to get it done. So
yeah, cool. That's yeah, I think in those 5 tracks it's delivered pretty straightforward and pretty well. And if you spend the time to actually read the lyrics as well, I think it provides a pretty amazing listening experience. And the best thing is like you can just immediately press repeat and you saw it. It's like let's go again.
yeah, nice 15 minutes. Like,
Yeah, it's like yeah, there, as you said, like there's not much filler at all. Like there's not one of the things that exists in the CP. It's just a straightforward delivery of what you've all thought up, and what you've just put all your all that time and effort into. It's really distilled is probably the best way to describe it.
well, thank you. I'm glad that you got all that from it. So
Yeah, no, dude, I think my review might be like 1,100 or 1,200 words long or something. So be
that's
prepared.
probably more than what's in the EP.
Well, I'm sure it'll pick on a lot of stuff. I listen to it way too much, so we'll see. Um, is there an album this year that's been released or that is going to be released this year that you're looking forward to listening to or experiencing?
Uh, I don't know. I really personally, I don't really keep up with a lot of current stuff. Like you know, when I listen to music, it's sort of just old hits, oldies, and like
Yeah,
old stuff I grew up on. I really don't keep up with new stuff. As far as like my favorite current new thing or
yeah,
recent release, I would say like the new Turnstile. I know everybody's on it, but it's just
solid.
perfect. It's a perfect
It's
album.
solid. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very true.
they're just one of those bands that I feel like we play every time we've ever played a festival. They were there. So I've
Yeah,
got, I've seen them over the years just a dozen times at festivals, and they're just perfect every time. And so to get this new album from them that just
yeah.
keeps moving them up, like it's awesome. It's great.
All the way up to Jimmy Kimmel. Hey,
Oh yeah, good for them, man. That like
it's amazing.
it's awesome. I love and it's one of those things where like when they get big, everybody gets big. Like it's drawing attention to the genre as a whole, and it's great. Like it's just
That's ex-
good.
that's it. Hey, like I saw comments people being like, oh, finally they fit the mainstream. Yeah, 100% sellout. It's like you don't get it.
No, yeah,
You
no,
don't
good
get
for
it.
them. That's what every artist is. Well, I won't say every artist, but like
Yeah.
if you want to play the better show, everybody wants to play the better show. And so if they can get on national, mainstream TV, like, and
Mm.
that's a pretty good show, I would say. Like,
it's pretty damn good.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, Glow On's just it's an absolute cracker of an album. I like that all
right.
the songs are super short as well. It's like, yep,
Yeah,
here's an idea that we have. It's really nice. Like, hope you
yeah,
enjoy it. We're gonna move on to the next one. It's like catch it when you
it's
can.
great.
It
It's
is
just a good
awesome.
listen.
Yeah, and now that COVID is kind of chilling out in a way, or at least we're learning how to exist alongside it.
Yeah.
Where would you love to perform? Where would you love to tour to play?
Australia.
Yeah.
always Australia. Yeah, it's our favorite spot. You know, it's
Oh,
we have
amazing.
so many friends there. The tours of we've never had a bad day in Australia,
Wow.
and so we're just just itching to come back there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
We've been without festivals and international artists for way too long. We're just like,
I
yeah,
know,
we're dying
I
for it.
know. But you guys have stuff going on now, right? Like I've seen
Yeah,
some
yeah,
shows are still happening there. You just don't have international yet, right?
correct. I mean, I think we
Okay.
have Foo Fighters coming down this month,
Okay.
which is like we went from like 0 to 100. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think we've got a couple of international acts coming back around maybe like
Cool.
the end of this year or something. But
Yeah.
then yeah, I think it'll probably get better after that.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good.
Look, thank you so much for your time. It's
Yeah.
been really cool to learn more about the EP, the lowest form of animal, and yeah, I hope that come April 1st, people really just dive headfirst into it and yeah, get all
Uh,
about it. I know they will. I think people are going to be just so happy and so I guess what's the word, pleasantly surprised in a way, but also just expecting. I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be fantastic. So yeah, thank you for
I
your
hope
time.
so, man.
Cool, man. Look, thank you very much for your time, and yeah, look, really, I wish you all the success with the CP, and I really can't wait to to see everyone else's thoughts on it, and also just see the appreciation that it deserves.
Well, thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. So it's
Cool, man.
nice being here.
Yes, awesome. It was a pleasure. So yeah, take care, and hopefully we'll see you down under sooner or later.
I hope so. Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Take care.
Bye.
My tears are dried up. I almost can't even cry